This recording? Hey guys, it's DJ with Westmoreland Gamers Guild. I know we're trying to get some content out to you guys, and it's been kind of rough. Uh, some folks are getting sick or have other engagements, stuff like that. So I figured today I'd do a little 15-minute video, roughly, on some painting. This here is Team Yankee. It's one of the games we're going to be covering, but it's basically World War III. It's set in the 80s. It's if the Cold War went hot, basically. That's their claim to fame. And what I have down here is U.S. infantry mechanized with some tracks and M60 battle tank. Now I apologize for the quality of the camera. Apparently, it doesn't like to zoom in really good, so it's probably about the best. So I tried putting something up to the camera. It really doesn't want to focus. No matter what I do, it doesn't want to focus on the miniatures, unfortunately. But basically, I'm just going over some tips and tricks for painting, because a lot of times 15 millimeter or 10 millimeter is very daunting for hobbyists. So one of the things I like to do, and this is from Norm, I usually just take some hot glue and attach your miniatures. These are, like I said, these are pewter, to the thing. Now, one thing that you can do, spray paint them black or white. Now, if I spray paint white, it's usually if I want a lighter color on the miniature. If I spray dark, obviously I want a darker color. Now, if you spray black, what ends up happening too, it kind of helps you. It's easier for shading, stuff like that, in depth. But, so you'd basically spray paint them black, and then in this case, you would do green. And then, because you do green, and then you'd figure out your color speckle, which would be like a dark, which would be like, you'd paint them dark, you know what I mean? You'd be like a browns, you would do tan, and you just kind of splotch it on there, okay? Then you do a light touch of flesh, and when you're done with the whole miniature, then you wash them. Because if you've noticed, like, here's some guys that are about done versus some other guys. It's kind of hard to see, but they're a little bit darker, and that's what you want. You know what I mean? So, you see my little painting area here. Got some water, stuff like that, your brushes. And you have your colors that you're going to be using for the day. Which I have, which would be green. You do a silver is what you do on the rifles. So what ends up happening is, once you're done painting the miniatures, you would attach them to the base. Now what I usually do for this, I take and I'll super glue them in there. A lot of times in prior miniatures, the bases won't quite fill in the circle hole, as you can see in some of them. Now that, for some reason, that focus is nice, but you usually put the miniature in, and they fit pretty well. If not, take a little bit of sand and some epoxy glue or white glue, and glue around the base. When it comes to basing, usually you can paint them or scratch them up. I'm just going to do a very traditional flock with like a white glue. But that's gonna be later steps. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this group of miniatures, and I'll kind of like walk you guys through it as I'm doing it. Like for these guys, I'll do a smaller brush. Put this in my brush thing here. Because these bases here are already done. So one platoon's about done. I'm just trying to finish them up. So have your water. I usually like to have a cloth just for getting stuff like this. But what I'll do is, like a lot of these I've already got. I've already got the black speckle, I've got the light brown and the black. Now I'm just going to do the web gear. And that's going to be, if I find it here, boy, there it is. It's going to be a Cobra Draft. Shake that up. Now normally I would use a I would use a palette, but like if you're doing like real small quantities, you really don't need that. And don't worry, that's not really chew. There's hobby knife blades in there. So that's why I usually have a little cardboard mat that I usually use to prime stuff for paint. So I'll just put a little dab right there. Let me move this back here so I'm not constantly reaching across for you guys to see. So then I just basically roll my thing in the brush. It's best to put a little bit of soap water or warm water in there, is what I'll do. Just start at one end. And you're just going to look at the guy, and you're just going to paint his web gear. Now you don't have to worry about getting this very spectacular, because in Team Yankee, the combat's mostly vehicle based. You know, I mean, that's really the star of the show. So what ends up happening, infantry play like a side role. It's still good to have them for objectives and just basically be annoyances. And you just basically just paint a little bit. Next guy, little assembly line. Okay. Now he has a Javelin Rocket. So the ends are going to be black, and then this part is going to be the same color as a web gear. So you just paint that. Now for these here, you can do 2 light coats, like everyone's favorite 40K guy talks about. Just do 2 light coats, touch up some of the stuff, and you don't need to worry about hitting a lot of things. I mean, because like I said, these aren't the star of the show, and it's good to do the 3-foot rule. If your miniatures look good 3 foot away, especially 15mm, let's be honest, that's all you're looking for. You're just looking for the illusion of detail. So that's why you just touch them up. Move on to the next guy. Okay, this guy's a law. A lot of these guys, especially Americans, were on their backsides. That's where they have all their Alice kit. Whenever I was in the National Guard and I first got in, this is what we carried around a lot of times. This is why I kind of near and dear to the heart. And his rifle's black, so I just basically touch up some areas that I could see. Leader, and like I said, you're just looking just to put a splash of color. Because when you're all said and done at the end of the day with this stuff, what you're going to do, you're going to get all the web gear you can painted, or flashlight, or whatever they have, and you're just getting that little bit of color. This is going on pretty thin, so I'll probably end up having to do another coat. And all you're doing is assembly lining. So as you see, I got all these guys with their web gear, so I'll just paint all the web gear. You know what I mean? Let them dry. And what you're going to do is, you're not worried about shading, you're not worried about anything, because there's still enough detail on the miniature. Whenever you wash this, your wash will get inside of the detail marks. I really wish this camera would focus better. I could actually show you the better. I'm going to have to work on that. Like I said, I want to try to get some content out to everybody. We've been trying to get together and do videos, and it's just been rough. It's the holiday season. Like right today, I'm recording from Christmas Eve. You know what I mean? As you can see, a lot going on around here. It's me and Goliath. He's just sitting there watching me. Thinks I'm talking to myself. I'm crazy, but I'm talking to you guys. And you just touch up, let those dry. You just grab another one. And you see there's a guy squatting down with a javelin. Not a javelin, a dragon, excuse me, it's a dragon. And you just paint that up. You know what I mean? His bipod's gonna be black and silver. Radio guy. And you're just hitting, you're putting splotches of color on them. You're not worried about detailing it. You're not working on 28mm, you're just working on basic infantry. And usually, plus if you're in a painting mood, you can really knock out a whole mech platoon in 8 hours. And the reason I said 8 hours, which sounds like a long time, a lot of it's drying time. Like, the paint will dry fast, the washes will dry fast, but whenever you glue them to the base, what I've been finding lately to help with gluing stuff to the base. And that's what's nice about the stick. You can just maneuver it around, do whatever. Always have a good light. That's why I got like a pretty bright set of lights above me. But and if you get a little bit sloppy, it's all right. You can just go back in and touch it up, and then whenever you wash it, like I said, you'll lose that. They'll get rid of a lot of that unnecessary thing. So let me paint these two, and I'll show you what I've been doing, especially for these guys to stick them to the base. You can use super glue. That's what I would recommend because they're pewter. If they're plastic glue, I'll be honest, Tesla's plastic glue is pretty good. As of lately, I just haven't been able to get out to a hobby shop and get any. Norm has some, but as much as I don't like some of the stuff, the GW plastic glue is really good. And this is what I usually use for, I'm not sponsored by it, everyone knows I'm just not sponsored by it, but I use this if the miniature is all plastic. But when it's pewter, I'll like to use gel, like a gel super glue. And the reason that is it's more controllable. It's not blaring out all over the place. And believe it or not, I feel the gel actually hardens or sets up faster. Sets up faster is what I should say. So I got them guys painted up. Wash, brush, paint. And I've been using Loctite super glue, and Gorilla Glue now makes a gel kind. You know what I mean? They work pretty good. You know, I mean, they're a little more controllable than the average. And all you're simply doing with them guys, and this one guy's not finished yet, but I can place him on there because some of these guys have fallen off the sticks, as you can see. So make sure there's no glue, and you just squirt a little bit on there and kind of swoosh it around. Then you're taking him and you're just going to setting him straight in it, and that's it. You just let him sit there, and this will dry up. It'll take time. I like letting them cure for a few hours. There's nothing worse than when you're putting white glue on here and then you're putting basing material down. You get it all over your brush. And that's it for right now. I'm going to go ahead and get back to painting. I'm going to try to get some more infantry. I am kind of ill prepared, as in not getting that thing to focus properly. And I can't find my white Gorilla Glue, aka like Elmer's wood glue. What I can show you is some future stuff. We'll go in the 113s and painting tracks, which is actually really simple. That's all for now, guys. I'll talk to you later. I'll have this saved. I'll try to get up with the site as soon as I can. Like I said, it is the holiday season, and the guy who does it, Jake, I'll let him get a hold of everything here, and hopefully we'll get some more content. Alright guys, we'll talk to you later.